going on, everyone, and welcome to Unlocked with Keys. I am your host, Mikiah, and on today's episode, we will be unlocking the story of a young and powerful minister and an owner of an anointed app. Without further ado, Mikiah Keener.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
Okay.
So tell me, Mikiah, what caused you to ministry?
So God called me into ministry, obviously, but when I was 17, I was a senior in high school. I went to Oak Park High School, and I started to, let me rewind a little bit. I'm getting too excited already.
We're ready. This is the great
yeah,
power.
So
great energy.
I was 17 in high school, and I visited Triumph Church.
Okay.
And so I went with my best friend at the time. We're still really close, but she was like my best friend at the time, and she wanted me to come. I didn't really want to go, but I'm like, you know what? She keep nagging me about it. I'm gonna just go and see what it's about. So we go and we visit Triumph Church with Pastor Kenlock. And so, like, you know how it is when you visit a new church. Sometimes you have your guard up because you just don't know.
Don't
right?
ask the visitors to stand up,
don't
please.
ask the visitors to stand up. So I went, and oh my gosh, I loved it. Like, I loved it to the point where, like, one service was enough for me to be like, I just want to change my whole life. Like, I don't know what I want to do, but I just want to change my whole life. And so, like, she didn't even have to ask me to come again. I'm like, okay, when is Bible study? When is the next service? We're coming back. And so, like, I just started to kind of continue to go more and more, started to take church more serious, started to take God more serious. And then I just began to, like, develop a prayer life. And so I would ask God, you know, like, what's my purpose? Why am I here? Because everything that I've been doing before up until this moment, it really had no meaning. It really had no purpose. It didn't have any significance. So I'm like, okay, God, I want to know why I'm here. I want to know what it is that you want me to do. Like, I just want to know what am I here for?
Yeah.
And so, like, the more and more that I prayed, he just kind of started to show me signs that kind of led to ministry. So I'm not going to lie. Like, at first, I didn't know it was ministry. I thought that he wanted me to go into motivational speaking. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a motivational speaker. I listen to Eric Thomas every day. So I'm like E.T. And so the more, like, I began to do motivational speaking, it felt good. But, like, you know, it didn't resonate with me. Like, it felt off. Like, I felt like I had to force it. You know what I mean? Okay. So I'm like, okay, God, like, I like it, but I just don't think that this is.
More.
Yeah, I need more. And so I kind of just, like, started to get pulled into ministry. And I mean, the rest was history. Like, I would just, you know, post little things on social media. I'm a social media fanatic. Like, I'm always.
You are.
I probably need to take a break. Yeah.
No, don't, because we're watching.
Thank you. But I was posting stuff on social media. Like, I was praying in high school for, like, people walking down the hallway, and they was like her.
Why did you go to my school?
We
needed you.
I just started to pray more. Like, people started to come to me for advice. People started to ask me for prayer. I started to get speaking engagements. I started sending out, like, these text messages that everybody just kind of loved. And then it turned into the app. So that's where we are now. But, like, one thing led to another. But every step was strategic. Like, when I finally positioned myself in the right place, everything was strategic from that point on. So
that is so beautiful.
Thank you.
At such a young age at that, I feel like, especially at like 17, 18, are those like challenging times.
Yes.
Really finding yourself, finding purpose. School's about to be over. What's next?
Yeah.
That's powerful to be able to seek your purpose in those moments.
In those early years.
Yeah,
yes,
and to influence your other peers. Like, girl, that's incredible. I remember going through that journey, like, and still going through it, but really that peak of the journey, it's like, okay, what do we do?
Exactly. And I feel like when you're 17 or 18, 19, 20, whatever, like, even in 20-somethings, it's like, it's really kind of rediscovering who you are, because you think you change, what you want changes, like what you're attracted to changes. And so, like, I just feel like to be able to kind of find it at 17, that's a blessing. It's a blessing.
That is huge.
Yeah, God is good.
You know, absolutely, yes. And you just taking those steps and just following, okay, this is what's next. Okay, we're going to start praying for people. Okay, now we're going to send out text messages. That is, and it's crazy because when you were at that age, did you ever think, okay, what this is going to lead me to?
No. Absolutely not. Still even to today, I don't know.
Wondering, like, what's
I don't. Sometimes I still have to say, okay, like, what's next? But at that time, I didn't think that it would turn into like a larger scale. I didn't think that young people would really like care for real about God, you know, because sometimes when you're that young, you're like, you know, I want to have fun right now, but I'll get right with God later in life. But like right now, I just want to have fun. But it's like when I was talking, people would listen, people would tell me, you know what I mean, like, thank you, you helped me to see things differently. And like, I never got cocky or arrogant or anything. I always kept a humble spirit, but it was just kind of proof that it's like, wow, like it's working, and you know it's working because people are changing, the way that they're thinking are changing, they're reading their Bible more, praying more, they're seeking God for themselves. So it was just, it's a blessing. And I mean, like at 17, it's just a blessing to be able to make an impact on other people that are your age, so they go through the same struggles that you deal with. They know how it is, so it was just a big blessing.
That is, wow. I just love that. When you say this, I just imagine being at 17 and in high school and the different things that we would go through as teenagers. And, you know, you think you're grown because you're a teenager.
Exactly.
You think, oh, we seniors in high school, we run this. So
okay.
It's like,
exactly.
It's like incredible. And I just think about, like, you know, if we had some sort of guidance like that at that age, how powerful and, you know, well, you know, rounded more of my peers would be too.
Yeah,
I love that.
For sure.
I do. So tell me, what has been some of your challenges with your peers while on your journey with Christ?
That is a great question. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I get that a lot.
That's a great question. I think that one of the biggest challenges that I have is being set apart but still being relatable. So it's like a fine line that I feel like you have to walk when you call yourself a minister or a preacher or whatever, because at that point you're a leader, you know, so people hold you to a higher standard. They expect you to not mess up. They expect you to get it right. Okay, so I think that one of the things for me was, like, I feel like in the beginning I think the best word to describe it is loose. You know what I mean? Like, there were just certain things that I didn't know. You know, there were certain things that I weren't aware of. And so, like, I made loose mistakes, and I gave people the open door to come in and to have a reason to talk about me and a reason to put me down. But also in the same light, you know, while I was trying to correct my errors, I had to remind myself, you're so young that whether you want to or not, you're going to slip, you're going to fall, you're going to mess up. And so I just had to find a way to be transparent and to let people know, like, you know what, I do love God, you know, I do want to get people saved. I love to pray, I love to preach, but I'm a human. And I'm gonna mess up. You know, the Bible says that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. And so, I mean, for me, in the beginning, I feel like when I was messing up, I wanted to get it right so bad that I was burning myself out trying to be perfect. And so I just had to be able to kind of like relay, and not even in words, but just kind of in the life that I live. Like, you know what? I do love God, but I'm still young. And I think that there's a big difference between enjoying your youth and destroying your future. Ooh. And that's what I always tell young people. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to live your life, but just make sure that you calculate the cost of every decision. And so I think that's where I'm at now. Yes.
Calculate the wow.
Yeah. And I think that I even wish that when I went into ministry, maybe if I would have like found a mentor, I would have done better. And so, like, for any young person or anybody period that comes across this, whether they go into ministry or not, whatever field they go in, I would say get a mentor, because I feel like you can learn from their mistakes. So it's mistakes that you won't even make, because they'll tell you about it and it'll save you. You know what I mean? So I didn't have a mentor. I didn't really have a role model in the beginning. I kind of feel like I was just kind of like out there on my own trying to get it right. But I feel like if I would have had that good mentor, they probably would have pulled me in line a little bit more. So
wow, that's awesome. So tell me a little more about those challenging times. Like, how did you have to really address yourself and be like, okay, hold on, this isn't the right thing to do? What were some things you had to like really unravel?
So I think that first of all, I didn't really like accountability. And so like, yeah, exactly. So I will always try to like point the finger at somebody or anything. And so I just had to like make a decision and be like, okay, you know what? You just got to check yourself. Like, sometimes you got to go in on yourself and give yourself tough love. Like, okay, boo, you slipping. Like, come on, get it together. Exactly. And it's like, for me, even things, it would be simple things for me, like things that I posted on social media. And it's like, okay, one of the things that I had to understand was, whether that's what you're thinking or not, once you put it out there, it's out for the world to see. And it's like, when you have 27,000 followers, you don't know who's going to come across that. You don't know who's screenshotting it. You don't know whose group chat is in. You know what I mean? So it's just like I said earlier, calculating every decision that you make. Like, okay, should I do this? And I feel like now I'm kind of more at a place where God has given me more discernment than I had in the beginning. And it's sometimes where I'll be typing out something and God will be like, delete that. Don't you dare. Don't you post that. Exactly. And so I feel like I'm better now. And I still even have those moments where I do slip up, but I feel like I'm better off now as far as discernment. And one of the biggest things that I asked God for was conviction. So like anytime that I'm in a place where I'm about to go down that wrong path, convict me and prick my heart so that I know for a fact like what's gonna come if I do this, or who I may let down if I make that move. So yeah.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. That's very important. It is. It stops you from making those wrong decisions, or even not necessarily stops you, but prepare you for the decision that's about to be made.
Right, right.
That's
I
awesome.
always tell people, I just think it's better to prevent it than it is to recover from it. So if you can just prevent it from happening in the first place, you won't have to go through the motions of, you know, falling down, getting back up. You know what I mean? So I just try to prevent stuff.
Absolutely.
So I won't have to deal with the repercussions.
Absolutely. I'm going to take that. I like that.
Yeah. Take it, girl.
I'm going to take it for my own personal life. Think about that.
It's helped me, for real. It's helped me.
Oh, my goodness. So tell me about one of your most memorable moments experiencing God's presence.
One of my most memorable moments experiencing God's presence? Okay. So this is what I'm going to say, because I don't think that there is just like one. But what I will say is this. I think that for me, experiencing God's presence has been and seeing the transformation of other people. So like I can give you something like this. Like when I do my prayer calls, I may do them on, you know, Instagram Live, Periscope, Facebook, whatever. I don't think that you have to be in a church to feel God. You know what I mean? So I'm all about doing church and ministry outside of the church. That's just one of the things that I advocate for. But I think that one of the most memorable moments is one time I was doing this prayer call on Periscope. And, you know, Periscope connects to Twitter. So, like, if you're just scrolling down Twitter on your timeline, you can see it and click it. And I was praying, and, you know, like, it was a couple people on the prayer call, just going in, praying for a whole bunch of different stuff. And after I ended the prayer call, I got a DM from a young lady. And I think she had just had, like, a newborn baby. She was just, like, a really bad space. And she DM'd me and was like, you know, I was about to kill myself. Like, I was going to kill myself tonight and, you know, just write a letter for my baby. And, like, I just happened to be scrolling down my timeline and clicked on this.
Honey.
And I broke down. I broke down because I was like, wow. Like, you never know who's watching. You never know what they're dealing with. You never know what people are going through. And for her to reach out and say that, it wasn't even about me in that moment. It was just like, wow, like I said, God is so strategic. Like, I honestly believe that he allowed her to be scrolling, thinking she was just scrolling on social media, saw that, clicked on it, and it changed her mind about living life. And I was like, wow, like, you cannot tell me. God ain't. You cannot tell me. So moments like that, and I mean, moments like that happen, they do happen to me more times than not. They happen often. So like whenever something like that happens, or somebody reaches out, you know, like, I want to commit suicide, thank you for that prayer. Had it not been for that prayer call, I probably would have made the decision. Moments like that, it's just a reminder, like, that God's presence it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yes.
So, yes.
He don't miss a beat.
Don't miss a beat.
Wow, that has to be one of the most powerful feelings, just to know that you stopped, you know, you saved a life.
Yeah. Wow. God saved the life.
God
saved the life. Yes.
She like, look, I ain't
the power of God saved the life for sure. And then it's just a reminder, like I said, like, okay, for one, you never know who's watching. And then it just kind of gives you like the motivation to really be more consistent. Because, you know, I'm pretty sure you feel that. Like, it's times where you feel like it, but it's times when you don't. And I think that was one of the biggest things for me, is like having discipline. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, ministry is, it's not a 9 to 5. You don't get the clock out. You know what I mean? It's like something may come up at 2 a.m, something may come up at 5 a.m, something may come up when you out trying to enjoy. And I feel like you have to make yourself available. Like, when you become a minister, you are a disciple, and you are around the clock. There's no off days. So
come on, girl. Yes, you better.
So yeah, but it's motivational for sure.
Yes, and that's so beautiful too, because not only obviously you saved her life, but like you said, it also helps you to be more consistent. A win-win.
Exactly, because it's like you never know who really needs it. You know, I feel like people walk around, smiling, happy, and then they get home and it hits them. And it's like, you will never know what some people are going through. Even the people that you think are the most happiest, when they get home and like no one can see them, you just never know. So
you don't, and that's why it's so important to really tap into that gift that you have.
Yeah.
Because like I can even say for myself, even with starting this show, I mean, obviously I'm having my, I'm thinking like, I don't know if this is really what you guys want me to do. Then when people start sending their stories, it's like, wow, we know we have a story, but wow, we really do have a story. Like, this is like so needed. This is necessary, you know.
And then you get to see like different perspectives, how different people think. So I know for you it has to be a blessing, because you get to interview so many different minds. Yeah.
And like you say, it's not about me at all. Not one bit.
It's about God getting the glory. But you're still getting blessed through it. So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
And
you're
still getting rewarded.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm asking you to help me.
Yeah. Right.
So we both go do some healing today.
Exactly.
So I want to okay, on your app, Mikiah Keener, I'm going to dig a lot deeper into that.
Okay.
But I do know you have a blog on your app. And one of your particular blogs that I ran across was how to tear down idols, or how to tear down idols. I said it. Okay.
Yes.
So tell me, why do you feel like people idolize things that's not meant to be worshipped?
People don't have their priorities in place. I think that it always starts with your priorities. I think it's a heart issue before it's anything else. And so I think that, whatever your heart is seeking the most, if it's not God, it's destructive. Like, if your heart is seeking that relationship more than God, it's destructive. You know what I mean? And so I think that sometimes we really don't understand the power of what idolizing something or someone or whatever it is can really do, or like how it can alter us. But I think that that's a problem that a lot of younger people go through, and they really don't know how to identify it, or they really don't know like the steps to take to kind of get out of that mindset. But I feel like once you start with your priorities and you really get real with yourself and say, okay, you know what, I have been putting this job over God. Like, I like money more than I like serving God. You know what I mean? I'll miss out on Bible study to pick up a shift at work, because I like money more than I like God. And so one of the things that I have to do is I have to be able to shift my priorities, shift the things that I want. And sometimes you may have to pray and say, okay, God, I want to do better. I want to put you first, but I don't know how. Like, can you help me? Can you come into my heart? Can you show me the way? But I feel like once you identify it, once you realize it's a problem, and once you begin to pray, once you begin to seek, once you begin to fast, whatever it is that you need to do, I do feel like you can kind of go in and rearrange the priorities, rearrange the things that you want. Because a lot of people really don't understand it, but it's like when you start chasing after God, the things that you want, they gonna start chasing after you. And it's like sometimes when you put God first, the things that you used to want, you don't even really want them no more, because you can see them for what they really are now. I think that whenever you don't have God first in your life, you don't have clarity. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things that you think look good. It's a lot of things that you think may work out, but it's because you don't really have that clarity. You don't really have that confirmation. But once you really rearrange, the things that you want, once you really make a decision to put God first, I think that he'll give you discernment, he'll give you clarity, and he'll give you the desires of your heart. Because now that you put him first, it means that his desires for you are the desires of your heart, and it's now in alignment with his will.
I'm so happy you said
and his purpose.
I'm so happy you are the first person that I've heard put it that way.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, the Bible does say, I'm going to give you the desires of your heart.
Receive.
Right. And people don't understand, when God says, I'm going to give you the desires of your heart, that is true if those desires are in alignment with his will. See, people don't understand that. And so it's like, well, you desire this relationship, but that's not in alignment. And sometimes we get mad at God and we want to leave church, and we start questioning if God is real. And it's not that. It's that you're desiring things that are going to destroy you.
Yes.
So God will always withhold. No, you know what? That's not always true. Sometimes God will give you a glimpse of something too, to let you know that you don't really want this like you think you wanted it. Sometimes he'll let you see things for what they really are. So yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get what you're asking for.
Yeah, you'll get what you ask for.
And you have to go through those trials to be led back to what it is that I was trying to keep you on path to receive anyway.
Yes, I love that.
I'm so happy you said that you have no idea idea. Like, I've heard people say over and over, oh, you know, asking you shall receive. Yeah, but like you say, once your heart is aligned with God and you're on the mission of God, your heart will only want the desires that He has for you.
Yep, I think it has to be that. And then just to add on, I think it has to be like your intentions and your motives as well. Like, why do you want this? You know, some people want a blessing because they want to post it on Instagram. They don't want to. Do you want a blessing so you can be a blessing to someone else, or do you want a blessing because you want likes? You know, so it's about your motives too. So
exactly. Yeah, you go, girl.
Thank you. I love this.
I love you, girl.
I'm having so much fun.
I just want to listen. Like, I really don't want to ask you. You tell me what you need to tell me.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I love this. I'm running out of stuff to say, girl. Your questions are so good.
Oh my God.
Oh, your questions are so good. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Girl, I told you I be doing that when I be prepared. Like,
yep.
I literally just have to stop and just pray. Yeah. Like, God, give me the
because it'll feel overwhelming.
Yes.
I feel you.
Yeah. What is needed? It's not about me. What's needed? You know what I'm saying? What do you need me to deliver? What is it that we need to take from this conversation? What does the audience need to feel? Who needs to be healed, impacted? It's not me, you know?